River rescue. Saskatoon Fire diving in to help 2 people in trouble in the water. Finances to fight wildfires this season. Why some say a government grant is only a drop in the bucket. And renewing calls for clues. Police again ask for the public to help them solve the death of a 66-year-old man 2 years ago.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening, and we begin with a close call on the South Saskatchewan River last night. Calls came in about a boat in trouble on the water. As Carla Shinkrick explains, the people shouldn't have been on the water with levels 4 times the normal amount.
You can get a sense of the intensity of the river flow right now, and this is what a boat in distress had to deal with Monday night when it was reported that it had lost engine power. Callers to 911 initiated the response from fire rescue crews when they saw the boat roughly about halfway between the University Bridge and the weir.
So our flow rates right now are, roughly 4 times faster than what we're used to.
With that volume of water flowing here on the South Saskatchewan River right now, rescuing a boat that lost engine power Monday night at around 8:30 was a priority for fire rescue. Fire department officials say a Zodiac boat with 2 people and it was drifting towards the weir.
They called 911. They were advised to throw their anchor in to either slow them down or stop. By the time we got our rescue team on the water, they had already restarted the engine on their craft.
The battalion chief says the boat shouldn't have been on the water with water levels dangerously high because of a release at Gardner Dam by the Water Security Agency last week.
People stay off the water. Wait until the flow rates get back to what maybe our new norm is this summer. But right now, it's too risky. It's not worth it.
The fire department had this jet boat deployed to accompany the boat in distress to the launch area under the Broadway Bridge. Once on shore, the occupants were briefed on the dangers.
We usually remind them that it's been advised to stay off the river, not a good idea. Maybe they weren't aware of the flow rates. We kind of try and do a little bit of education with them, for sure.
So the battalion chief tells me that water levels peaked on Saturday and have been going down ever since. It's expected that they will gradually go down to normal in the next few days. Carla Shinkrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A new government grant is under scrutiny tonight. The province says it aims to help communities be resilient to wildfires. But as CTV's Laura Woodward reports, some say it doesn't go far enough.
The government is giving money to communities that take steps to reduce the risk of wildfire. It's called the Fire Smart Grant, part of the government's plan to address an independent review that found flaws in Saskatchewan's wildfire response.
Fire mitigation is critical in wildfire prevention.
Wadden Bay will be the first community to receive the funding with a retroactive $40,000 grant for fire mitigation work it's already completed.
$40,000 is nothing. It wouldn't even get us started.
Candace Paul, the emergency coordinator for English River First Nation, says the funding falls short of what's needed in northern communities surrounded by boreal forest.
I've done an analysis of what we need to do for fire smarting both of our communities. Over the next 2 years would cost $600,000 to $1 million to do a proper mitigation.
The new Fire Smart grant is being welcomed by Forest Saskatchewan, but the nonprofit says reducing wildfire risk requires greater attention to forest management.
We really need to spend some time and effort on the front end, which is forest management and forest protection, which would include what does it take to make a forest more resilient to wildfire.
Premier Scott Moe says the Fire Smart grant is just one of the 11 immediate actions the government plans to take in addressing recommendations from the wildfire report.
That I think is going to better prepare our northern communities and the government's role in supporting that preparation.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Northern Tornadoes Project has confirmed 3 additional tornadoes in Saskatchewan this month. 2 of them touched down in areas east of Oxbow on June 7th, possibly within 10 minutes of each other. The first was near Glen Ewan, damaging the roof of a home and turning over a trailer. The second was near Cardiff, which destroyed an outbuilding. Both have been given a rating of EF1 with estimated max wind speeds of 140 and 145 kilometers per hour. A third separate tornado is also confirmed in the LaPorte area southwest of Kindersley. That one has been given a default rating of EF0 with no visible damage found. Saskatchewan's total number of tornadoes for 2026 so far is now at 6. Well, Jeff, it was a gray day, and then it turned sunny, and then we got some rain.
Yeah, a little bit of rain. Not a lot of rain here in Saskatoon. Other places like Prince Albert certainly dealing with some rain, and then we get into areas like, I believe, Kindersley and Rosetown, some thunderstorm activity. So it's been a real interesting mix, and not a surprise when we take a look at our radar signature here, especially as we make our way across southeastern Alberta into southwestern Saskatchewan. Some nasty conditions there. We haven't had any reports of hail, but I won't be surprised if some of that shows up. But we'll talk about this system and what's to come a little later on.
It's been 2 years since a Saskatoon man was killed in a Fairhaven park, and police are renewing calls for anyone with information to come forward. CTV's Stacey Hyne has the details.
66-year-old Harvey Zorb was returning home after a routine trip to 7-Eleven, walking through Herbert S. Sears Park in the early morning hours of June 12, 2024, when he was attacked.
He was met by someone or people who brutally attacked him unprovoked, as far as we know, and left him for dead.
Zorb was beaten with what police believe was a T-shaped piece of metal, and say one witness saw 3 possible suspects leaving the scene. Zorb was found around 6 a.m. with life-threatening injuries and taken to hospital, where he later died. 2 years later, his homicide remains unsolved.
Police say there are no new leads at this time, but say they're exploring new technology and have hope the case will be solved.
There's not a week that goes by without him being mentioned, just because of the brutality of the file. And for me personally, I grew up in Fairhaven. I went to that school. I played baseball on that tarmac where he was found. So, you know, that hits close to home for me.
Ward 3 councillor Robert Pierce took to social media asking anyone with information to come forward, saying he's a family friend and that the family, the community, and those involved in solving this case need closure. Police say any piece of information could be key.
What the public might not realize is they might hold a piece of that puzzle and we have the bigger picture. So any piece of information that they might have, even if they think it's insignificant, could be mountainous for us.
Information related to this case can be reported to police or anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Stacey Hyne, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A man convicted of killing another man 20 years ago will serve the maximum youth sentence. The now 37-year-old, who was 17 at the time of the fatal stabbing of Misha Pavlik, is being sentenced as a youth. He'll serve a 7-year sentence. 4 will be behind bars with no credit for time served. Pavlik was 19 when he was killed at a graduation party near Regina Beach in 2006. 2 people have been charged following a stabbing that left a man with serious injuries. On November 23rd, police were called to the 300 block of 20th Street West, where a 37-year-old man was found injured outside a business. His injuries were serious but not life-threatening. Investigators determined the assault happened on Avenue D South. A 54-year-old man was arrested on May 22nd. A 34-year-old man was arrested yesterday. Both are charged with aggravated assaults. RCMP have charged 2 men with human trafficking. Last November, RCMP received a report of potential human trafficking at a trucking business in the RM of Edenwald near Regina. RCMP say their investigation determined an employee had to pay a large sum of money to be employed with the company and obtain permanent residency status. Drivers also reported they were forced to drive with unsafe loads and work long hours without compensation. The men charged are 36 and 50 years old. An inmate serving time for weapons offenses was released by mistake. The province says 30-year-old Breddor Wapistiquan was released from custody on May 28th as a result of an administrative error. He was supposed to be behind bars until his next scheduled court appearance on July 14th. He has a tattoo of a bottle on his right arm and a heart tattoo on his right hand. The province says he has ties with the community of Big Island Cree Nation. If you see Breddor Wapistiquan, you are advised not to approach him and instead call police. A garage went up in flames this morning in the new Tana Park neighborhood. Firefighters arrived just before 6:30 to the 2500 block of Preston Avenue, where a garage was engulfed in flames. No one was injured, but the garage and its contents sustained significant damage. An investigator will try to determine how and where the fire started, as well as a damage estimate. Staff at Saskatchewan Penitentiary have made another significant seizure. The Correctional Service of Canada says on June 5th, 9th, and 11th, packages containing contraband and unauthorized items were found at the Prince Albert prison. The CSC says the packages were filled with meth, THC concentrate, and cocaine with an estimated value of $127,000. It credits tools like scanners and drug detecting dogs for its work in preventing illegal items from getting into the facility. Some of Saskatchewan's leading startups were shoulder to shoulder with healthcare administration and government officials at a luncheon meant to capitalize on the innovation happening all over the province. As Keenan Sorokon reports, getting this influx of technology into healthcare settings is the next step.
Navigating the future of healthcare, overcoming regulatory hurdles, and using new tech to improve access for everyone. All these topics and more were part of a 2-hour discussion Tuesday, where Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell was keeping close tabs on Saskatchewan innovators.
There's a real opportunity for us, I think, to really engage more directly and deeply with the innovators that we have in our own province and figure out how we work together.
Mike Wesolowski is the CEO of Luxonic Technologies, which specializes in VR tech and software that's bringing virtual care to faraway places.
Spread healthcare to those remote and rural communities to ensure that the healthcare that we get in La Loche is the same healthcare that we're getting in Saskatoon.
Founders in the room have technology sold in Toronto, Nigeria, and the United States, and the province is looking to see if it can be rolled out provincially. An RFP for virtual healthcare vendors was issued Tuesday to get more people access to primary care, especially in northern remote communities.
We want to make this available to more people across the province. We're going to start in a few different regions and then really ramp up from there.
Wesolowski says the province can do more to welcome these million-dollar ideas and work closely with tech companies.
One of the big differences between a company in Saskatchewan and a multinational company is we can build solutions very quickly and tailored to the problems that we have in this province.
And while Cockrell isn't one for red tape, he sees the benefit of creating a central pathway for tech innovation to link with the health authority.
What is the best avenue for innovators and founders to come forward to government and say, hey, I've got a potential solution to a problem I've heard about from the front line.
Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A frontline initiative helping Prince Albert's most vulnerable is back for a second year. As Jasmine Pelche reports, the Hygiene Hub is in operation.
The local mobile hygiene hub has once again hit the streets of Prince Albert after opening for the first time last summer.
We have a simple draw, like a bathroom that brings people in, and then just some friendly staff that can point them in the right direction to access that. So it's one more chance for people to get help and services that they need.
The city says the hub, which also provides food and water and referral to other services, has seen about 30 users daily since it opened 2 weeks ago.
Every day we see just about the same people. I see some new faces every once in a bit, but it's generally the same people every day.
The city expects the numbers to go up over the next few months, as last fall, the Hygiene Hub was hosting more than 50 clients daily. The weekday service is operated by outreach workers through a partnership with the Prince Albert Métis Women's Association.
Well, we just make sure, people need references to like different services and to make sure to get them those services, and we give them drinks, sandwiches. We make sure that they're doing well mentally and physically.
The city purchased the hub through a federal grant.
Traditionally, social services, come from the provincial and federal level, but sometimes municipalities have kind of a unique view at the, local level to be able to provide services that are relevant to the community.
The Hygiene Hub runs during the day from 8:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
A Saskatoon man's unique hobby has resulted in a weekly tour exploring the great outdoors. Sally Mandrick on his passion project, now open to the public.
What started as a hobby during COVID at the advice of his wife for Mike Degou has since grown into a community of nature lovers.
Apparently I can be annoying sometimes, and she said you have to find a reason to get out of the house. So I went for a walk by the river and I saw a beaver, and I followed it for the rest of the evening, and it led me back to its lodge, and there were several beavers swimming around in the dusk lighting.
After taking some pictures and videos of the beavers, this quickly became a routine for Degou. He soon had so much content that he created a social media page, which now has more than 15,000 followers.
I get a lot of messages from people saying, we love your page. A lot of seniors will write me and say, this is great, I can't get out to the river, and your page makes it feel like I'm there.
Now, Degou is bringing his passion for urban wildlife to others in Saskatoon. Thanks to a partnership with the Meewasin Valley Authority, a beaver walking tour has been created where Mike is sometimes the host.
I'll give you a really great introduction of the Weir and that whole area, some of the fascinating history and some undiscovered sites that people don't really get to appreciate or take advantage of when they're there.
The weekly tour is intended to teach others how wildlife has adapted to living in Saskatoon.
Hopefully you'll get to see some beavers, but also see some really cool things about how the beavers have adapted to the river and how they've changed the river just along the trail you're going through.
For Degou, he's just happy to see his hobby bringing joy to others.
Especially love the fact that people get enjoyment from what I do. So if I can share a video or a photo or some knowledge and it helps improve someone's day, puts a smile on someone's face, I love it.
Anyone looking to join a Monday night beaver walking tour can find tickets on the Meewasin website. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still to come, the conversation captured between the U.S. and Canada at the G7 summit. Also, a Saskatoon MP introduces legislation to allow Psilocybin to be used in certain cases. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. A hot mic moment at the G7 captured a casual exchange between the U.S. president and Canada's prime minister. They were joking, engaging in small talk, but also getting down to business. CTV's Michael Couture has the impromptu lunch chatter and what else happened today on the first day in France.
As G7 leaders prepared for their working lunch, Prime Minister Mark Carney took advantage of the moment to talk trade with U.S. President Donald Trump. In an apparent reference to the amount of Chinese electric vehicles Canada agreed to let into the country in January, Carney conveyed to Trump how little he believes it would affect the North American market. The agreement with China would allow for the annual import of 49,000 Chinese-manufactured EVs into Canada. In exchange, China lowered tariffs on a number of Canadian products, including canola. Also in Evian, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and lead trade negotiator Janice Charette met with their American counterparts.
We talked about a number of other issues that the United States raises with us, but we also talked about issues that are important to Canadian workers and the Canadian economy.
Now, after securing the deal with Iran, Trump's focus shifted to Ukraine. Following a meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky on the margins of the G7 summit, Trump had this message for Vladimir Putin.
Russia should make a deal. Russia's lost tremendous amounts of people, and so does Ukraine.
Ukraine will win. It's just a question of time.
To help make that happen, Canada announced additional sanctions against 162 Russian individuals and entities targeting the Russian war machine. And President Zelensky feels a new sense of momentum towards a resolution.
It's great that everybody's understanding.
Yeah.
And it's great that Russia is not winning, and we have to push Putin to end this war.
G7 leaders will continue their meetings on Wednesday, but there are no plans for Trump and Carney to sit down together. But as we saw today, that doesn't mean they won't have important discussions, even if they're brief. Michael Couture, CTV News, near Evian, France.
Some First Nations have been waiting decades for safe drinking water, and new legislation introduced by Mark Carney's Liberals falls short of recognizing it as a human right. CTV's Judy Trin on how this matters to Indigenous communities.
An act respecting water.
The Liberal government tabled its new version of the First Nations Clean Water Act.
We can all agree that everyone should have access to clean, safe drinking water.
On reserves like Niskanjaga, people have had to boil water to make it safe to use since 1995. In Saskatchewan, families were evacuated after sewage leaked into the drinking water. Currently, 38 First Nations are under long-term advisories. The Liberals, under former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, set a deadline to fix the problem and missed it.
We will end all long-term drinking water advisories on reserves by 2021.
11 years ago, this Liberal government said they would get rid of clean water, boiled water advisories within 6 years. Now it's 2026.
But more than 150 long-term water advisories have been lifted since 2015. Still, the Liberals under Mark Carney have changed the language of the bill. The policy is to further the progressive realization that First Nations have a human right to safe drinking water, instead of declaring it an existing right. The previous bill was opposed by Alberta and Ontario.
I'm trying to create the safest space where everybody comes to the table, works together, and commits.
The Carney government's push to fast-track major projects like pipelines has set it on a collision course with some Indigenous groups. When it comes to protecting water, some feel the diluted language means less of a commitment to a basic necessity.
Water is a human right. Full stop. It's been a progressive realization for many of our nations for decades. And if we're going by that timeline, I'm absolutely concerned with that language in that bill.
This legislation also promises an additional $4.6 billion to ensure access to clean water. But the bill won't be looked at until the fall. The government chose to table the legislation 2 days before Parliament is set to rise. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Saskatchewan Conservative MP has introduced new legislation that could allow psilocybin to be used in some medical cases. Put forward by Saskatoon University MP Corey Tucker, the Conservatives are proposing a bill that would allow doctors to prescribe and facilitate psilocybin-assisted therapy. Currently, doctors have to apply through a special access program. The treatment is primarily targeted at mental health conditions, including addiction, depression, and PTSD. It would not legalize the psychedelic for recreational use. Psilocybin is one of the active ingredients in magic mushrooms that causes hallucination.
This bill, when it passes, we will have the ability for physicians to prescribe psilocybin to their patients if they deem necessary, which we all know we need to look at new and innovative ways of treating the epidemic that is on our streets. And I know Canadians are demanding that we move on this.
The bill will now go to second reading in the House of Commons. Health Canada says while clinic trials with medical psilocybin use have been promising, there are not currently any approved therapeutic products containing it in Canada or elsewhere. 12 students are in stable condition after they were hurt during a field trip at a BC water park.
They had burns. What we heard is that they were electrocuted. They grabbed the bar outside and they couldn't let go because they were getting electrocuted.
The kids were waiting in line for a ride at Cultus Lake Water Park near Chilliwack. It's believed some of them had their hands on the metal railing when a possible electrical incident happened. The injuries are considered serious but not life-threatening. WorkSafe BC and Technical Safety BC are investigating. The water park will stay closed for at least a couple of days. Hezbollah says it has received assurances from Tehran it will demand a withdrawal of Israeli troops from Lebanon in the next phase of talks with the U.S. Today, Donald Trump criticized Israel's leader, indicating the situation in Lebanon should have been resolved by now.
The one thing that's happening that's of note, frankly, the only thing that really matters to me, is Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And it says it loud and clear. They're not going to develop it. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to do anything with it. And if they do, they suffer unbelievable consequences.
The U.S. president says he suggested to Israel that Syria take care of Hezbollah. Lebanese state media reports 4 people were killed in separate Israeli attacks on South Lebanon today. The FBI says it foiled an alleged terror plot targeting President Donald Trump's Ultimate Fighting Championship event last Sunday at the White House. Federal agents say 5 people have been detained, and investigators uncovered the threat days before thousands gathered for the event. Part of the plan included striking nearby buildings with explosive drones and then using snipers to target senior government officials. The fight night took place on Trump's 80th birthday and today at the G7 in France. The U.S. president says he wasn't briefed on it. Demand for the Snowbirds' last public show in Saskatchewan before a planned hiatus is high, so organizers are releasing some additional tickets. 100 additional parking spots for the hometown event have been opened up at the Moose Jaw Municipal Airport. They'll go on sale to the public Friday in limited to 1 per customer. The air show is set for July 11th. All right, Jeff, kind of a mixed bag today, but we did see some rain this afternoon.
A little bit of rain here in Saskatoon, not a lot. There was a hint of rain this morning, and actually more than a hint, it showed up, but it was really quite isolated and spotty throughout the city. And then a little something this afternoon, but all in all, not a rainy day here. Different story in other parts of the province, dealing with thunderstorms or just straight up rain. So yes, a lot of different sorts of situations as we make our way across the province with regard to the weather today. 16 degrees in Saskatoon, 18 in Prince Albert, and 14 in the Battlefords. Yeah, it's cold by June standards, and we'll tell you why a little later on. But you can also see that it's kind of breezy in Saskatoon, not quite as windy, but still moderate winds in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. Quick look at Saskatoon's almanac: 19 degrees. That was around 3 o'clock this afternoon. 23 is typical for this time of June, so yes, certainly cooler than seasonal, and nowhere near the record warm temperature. 39 big degrees from 1933. The record cold temperature from 1915. That was -2 degrees. And the sun is going to go down at 9:30.
Coming up, artists and residents. A look at a Saskatchewan group and their work being embraced and showcased.
All right, quick look through the live lens of Skycam. I'm not going to say it looks foreboding or ominous, but certainly it looks like it wants to make a little noise. And it might, even as the evening goes on, because we've had ourselves an interesting day across the province. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot in that regard. And you can certainly see this huge area. It's got a big wingspan. We've got a big low down in Montana. There's a big high off the west coast. And those two items taken together, they're sort of working together to continue to bring cold, I'm not going to say Arctic air, but certainly colder air from the north down on top of us, and one of the reasons why we're cooler than seasonal. And then, of course, we still have that blocking high behind me back in Greenland. So we've got all this active weather sliding along a cold front and making its way into parts of the American Midwest and the Great Lakes region. So it's a messier situation with the Great Lakes, because that Montana low is going to move there and start to deepen and get strengthened. And yes, it's going to be a messy situation in eastern Canada. 16 degrees in Saskatoon, 18 in Prince Albert, and 14 in the Battlefords, just to recap. The hot spot was Coronach at 26 degrees, the cold spot Key Lake at -1. Around the province we go, the larger communities: 14 degrees in Lloydminster, Swift Current at 21, 20 in Estevan, 19 in Regina, 16 in Yorkton. Into a closer look of central Saskatchewan: 19 in Meadow Lake and Kindersley, as well as Hudson Bay, 21 in Nipawin, just 14 degrees in Wynyard. A lot of places around that 15 or 16 degree mark. Up north, a little cooler, but it does warm up to 20 degrees in La Ronge, 14 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls, 19 in Buffalo Narrows. And down south, no breakout temperatures. Obviously, the rainy conditions in the southwest, cooler temperatures around 12 degrees for Maple Creek and East End. But as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province and closer to the American border, 21 degrees in Coronach, 20 in Weyburn and in Carlisle, 16 in Melville, 14 in Broadview. So our future cast really indicating that, yes, some of that active weather is still lingering. Now, it's a bit more spotty in nature, but ultimately we've still got some active weather to deal with. And it looks like parts of southern Saskatchewan may be the hardest hit. Right now, we do have severe thunderstorm watches in effect from basically the Outlook area down towards Fox Valley and to Maple Creek, and then across down to Cardiff. But the warnings, first of all, the severe thunderstorm warnings there, the yellow one that's down towards the southern Saskatchewan, towards the international border down in the southwest, that is a orange, or rather an amber alert. So not an amber alert, but an amber level warning, and so that's a high impact situation. And the one you see just to the east of that, that is an intermediate warning right now, but it is still a severe thunderstorm warning. Here we go with our northern situation. 15 degrees tomorrow for La Ronge and Buffalo Narrows, a chance of showers in Buffalo Narrows. Temperatures in the mid to high teens for west central Saskatchewan, chance of showers in Meadow Lake, Spiritwood, and Rosetown. A bit more rain expected down in the southwestern part of the province with temperatures in the high teens, a similar temperature pattern for the southeast. And as we take a look and see what's going on in east central Saskatchewan, you can see the temperatures are in the teens again there. And as we take a look at the Battlefords, 10 degrees overnight, 18 degrees tomorrow, and it looks like Sunday, Father's Day, is going to be a bit on the soggy side. Prince Albert, showers tapering off, a risk of a thunderstorm, 17 degrees tomorrow, slowly warming up and then dropping off for the weekend, at least as far as Father's Day is concerned, and 9 degrees with showers ending, a risk of a thunderstorm, and then 18 degrees tomorrow with the winds out of the north, 20 gusting to 40. And as you can see, warming up to 21 by Saturday, but cooling off for Father's Day.
Two stalwart friends off on another whirlwind big city adventure. Oh, this is bad.
Everyone's favorite ogre is back. The teaser trailer was just released for Shrek 5. Mike Myers returns as the voice of the titular character, along with Eddie Murphy as Donkey and Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona. The trailer doesn't give many details about the plot, but as you can see, the crew's heading out on another adventure, being chased through the streets by guards and thrown in jail. Shrek 5 is due for release next summer, a full 17 years after the fourth installment in the franchise. The Recording Academy has added 5 new categories for the 2026 Grammy Awards. Those new categories include Best Asian Pop Music Performance, Best Traditional Pop Vocal Performance, and Best R&B Collaboration or Group Performance. There's a new category to recognize Latin songs recorded predominantly in Spanish, and there's a new designation for Best Traditional Folk Album. Thank goodness. A rare first edition copy of Emily Bronte's novel Wuthering Heights is up for auction for the first time in over a century. Christie's Auction House has announced yesterday that this is the first copy in the publisher's original cloth binding to be auctioned since 1908. Only about 250 copies of the first edition were printed, and this one has been in a private library since shortly after its publication in 1847. The book, along with a copy of Anne Bronte's Agnes Grey, is expected to sell for between $750,000 and $1.1 million Canadian at a June 30th sale in London, England.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day, and you have a bonus photo.
I do have a bonus photo. We'll start off with this one very quickly. These are from some lady slippers that looked like they had been, they were going to get hurt badly in the early 50s and the 70s because of rural road construction. But Tony tells us its final destination is in our garden where it continues to flourish. Lady slippers are native to Saskatchewan, and this cluster has been in the care of my in-laws for over 80 years. This next one comes to us from Eunice in Humboldt, taken on June 5th. I looked out the window and it looked like the sky was on fire. It was totally amazing, and that is an amazing shot. Thank you, Eunice. From Brent in Nipwood, a young red fox pup playing around. Great shot of some wildlife there, Brent. And finally from Michael, hey Jeff, I have a birthday wish to go out to my oldest daughter, Zoe. Michael adds she was born on Father's Day 24 years ago. The best Father's Day gift, along with my other 2 children. All 3 are a special gift. So happy birthday. And if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. And please put Pick of the Day in the subject line. And you can also scan the QR code on your screen.
Still to come on CTV News, putting a face to Indigenous artwork. A look at the creations, part of a residency program in Saskatchewan.
Greetings, everyone. For the past few years, the City of Regina has been selecting one local First Nations or Métis artist for its Indigenous Artist in Residence program, aiming to support artistic creation and community connection. But in celebration of the city's 5th year of the program, 5 Indigenous artists have been picked this year. Sierra D'Souza Butts brings us this week's story.
As an artist with a disability, Tori Ironstar says painting is a way for him to tell his story.
Painting's super easy, it's visual, and everyone kind of understands. I don't need to use words to explain it. As like a hearing person would tell a story, I can tell it through art.
Ironstar uses a geometric style for his artwork, allowing him to incorporate his Nakota and Blackfoot Indigenous identity. Through his art, he hopes people can see the deaf perspective.
They see that I'm dependent on my eyesight and find that deeper meaning. And I'm really interested to see what people see on the surface level and what's basic, but really go deeper than that. And also incorporating the Indigenous perspective and colors and all of that, and just kind of 3 different worlds mixed into one.
Ironstar is one of 5 artists selected for the City of Regina's Indigenous Artists in Residence program, where First Nations, Inuit, and Métis artists join a paid residency that supports their artistic creation, community connection, and cultural continuity. As part of the city's 5th year of the program, 5 artists were chosen instead of 1.
There's so many great artists here locally that have such different perspectives and important voices to share, and so many diverse mediums. So this is really exciting way for us to celebrate the 5 years of this program.
From June to October, the local talent will host public workshops at the Neil Bockwell Civics Arts Center, learning from one another while connecting with Indigenous art and storytelling.
I think I'm most looking forward to is connecting with other Indigenous artists in the community and sharing that art with the greater community in Regina. I'm hopeful that it's going to create more connections between non-Indigenous and Indigenous people.
The artwork created through the 2026 residency will be added to the city's civic art collection. To date, the collection contains over 330 artworks by local Saskatchewan and Canadian artists.
It's exciting to know that my artwork will continue on in the collection even after I'm gone. I have a young daughter who is 8, and so that's something that makes me really happy, as well as a mother, that she can, when I'm gone, she can be like, my mom's art's in the collection, and
At the end of the residency, a final exhibition will be held at the Art Gallery of Regina from November to December. For Indigenous Circle, I'm Sierra D'Souza Butts in Regina.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
When we come back, a look at how the Mamba did in their new digs, and later kicking off happy hour in a unique way.
Here's what's happening in our community. Rock the Pantry is back for a 3rd year. The Real Canadian Super Band is collecting food and money in support of the Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Centre. That's Saturday, June 20th at Buds on Broadway. National Indigenous Peoples Day is being celebrated at Wanuskewin Heritage Park on Sunday, June 21st between 10 and 4. Admission is by donation. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar, or scan the QR code on your screen. Now it's time for a quick look at the rural forecast for Wednesday. And as you can see, things are starting to clear up a little bit on the western boundary, but there's still some active weather. We said it was going to be spotty in nature, and it's certainly the case. Meadow Lake and Spiritwood and Outlook anticipating some rain tomorrow. Maybe not a lot of rain, but some rain. And then it doesn't really show up at all as we make our way over towards Melfort and Hudson Bay, Watrous and Wynyard. Down south, what do we got? Well, we have a bit more widespread rain as we saw that track of that storm system making its way from Alberta into Saskatchewan. Let's take a closer look and see what they've got going on in Merrifield. Well, Merrifield, which is down southern Saskatchewan, close to the Manitoba border, expecting some rain tomorrow, about 17 degrees for a high, and winds out of the north 20, gusting to 40. So a bit of an unpleasant day in some respects. And Merrifield is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The Saskatoon Mamba won their first game at Merlis Belcher Place last night in dramatic fashion.
Calls down, gets inside, Townsend wins it! Mamba! Holy moly!
Trey Townsend scored the winner in last night's thrilling contest against Ottawa to help Saskatoon beat the Blackjacks 96-94. The winning basket came after the Mamba battled back from a 9-point deficit heading into target score time. After a slow start, the Mamba have now won 4 of their last 5 games. The team will play their next 2 games on the road this weekend before returning to SaskTel Centre to face the Edmonton Stingers on June 24th. A Saskatchewan native has signed a new deal with the New York Islanders. The Islanders announcing Ethan Bear, who is from the Ochapowace First Nation in eastern Saskatchewan, has signed a 1-year, 2-way contract. Bear spent the last season with the Islanders' American Hockey League affiliate. This contract allows that to continue while also opening the door to a possible NHL return. He has previously played in 275 NHL games, most recently with the Washington Capitals. A hockey tradition in Canada is coming to an end. After 75 years on the air, Hockey Night in Canada will no longer appear on the CBC.
And they're going to clench it appropriately with a total team effort.
An agreement between Rogers and CBC that allowed Hockey Night to air on the public broadcaster expired at the end of the playoffs. The CBC first aired Hockey Night in Canada in 1952 and will retain the Hockey Night brand. Sportsnet, which is owned by Rogers, says it will keep airing NHL games on Saturdays, calling it a time-honored tradition for Canadians. Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.62 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.56.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco was up $1.26 today, and Nutrien was down at $91.71. Coming up, what has one fan flocking to the World Cup festivities? Then, when the shoe fits during happy hour.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. Well, the 2026 World Cup might just have its very first unofficial mascot. This is Merlin the duck. He was spotted waddling through the streets of Mexico City after Mexico's opening victory against South Africa last week. Dressed in an official team jersey and socks, Merlin quickly racked up millions of views online, but apparently he was already a very well-known local celebrity. He's often seen at fairs and events in the city, along with his owner, who sells water and soft drinks from a cart. Wouldn't you buy a bottle of water from someone with a duck?
Absolutely, and I see a Disney movie coming.
Okay.
Yep.
Children's book first or later?
What's that?
A children's book first or later?
Well, could be. Okay, let's really milk this.
Okay. All right. Before we go, we have to show you this. I think you'll like this. A bar in Miami is home to some of the most fun World Cup themed drinks that you could ever imagine.
Because of our sneaker themes that we have for all the cocktails, we decided for World Cup, because it's so big, we would make a cleat for all the soccer fans, because we are known for our soccer watch parties in Wynwood.
The sneaker-themed bar is giving fans a chance to customize their drink with the stickers of their favorite national teams. If you want a beer, you can have it in a trophy-shaped glass. Customers can also bring their drinking vessels home as a special souvenir.
And I'm sure at a very reasonable special price.
I'm sure.
How much for this sneaker?
I think that's a nice keepsake.
It is a keepsake.
Look at different sizes and everything.
Exactly. Fair enough then.
There you go.
All righty. Let's take a quick look and just want to remind you that the warnings are no longer in effect for southern Saskatchewan, but the watch boxes are. And if we have time for this, we can tell you that we've got ourselves a coolish day again, but mainly cloudy skies.
And breezy.
And breezy.
Thanks for watching.
Prairie Lily, woo!
Have a good night.